One argument flat earthers like to make is that gravity would not work on a spherical Earth, and that if it did work, we would all be pulled off the side of it. The idea basically says that gravity is a universal downward force that would cause us to fall off of the spherical Earth, proving that the Earth is flat. However, there is no such universal down, and no such force exists. Rather, the force of gravity is a force that is directed towards the center of the Earth, which we then interpret to be down.
Gravitational force fields are radial vector fields, kind of like what I have drawn here. The center of mass is this dot in the center, and the vector field, which is the direction of all the force, is pointing towards that center of mass. That is how gravity behaves, or that is how we have observed it to behave. Now, if I were to draw a circle in blue, like this, even though it's kind of a bad circle, you can see that at all points, the vector field is perpendicular to the surface of our circle. That is essentially what's happening in a 3D sense when we look at the globe Earth. Now let's say you were a man standing at the north, we'll call the North Pole of our circle. We're standing up here. That's our little man. He feels the force pointing directly downwards towards the center of mass. So he feels himself being pulled that way, because that is the way the vector field is pointing, and that is the force he would feel. Therefore, in his mind, he would think down is that way. However, if we have someone down here, say, like that, on our south pole, he's being pulled in pretty much the opposite direction, but still on the surface of the circle. So while this man up here on our north pole is being pulled downwards, this man on our south pole, while our man up here is being pulled towards this, or southward towards the center of the sphere, this man is going to be pulling northward also towards the center. While they're both being pulled in opposite directions, our man up here being pulled south, our man down here being pulled north, they're both still being pulled towards the center. And because of that, their forces are against this sphere. What that causes is it causes them both to interpret down as towards the center of the sphere. So for this man, down would be in that direction.
What we perceive to be down is an entirely subjective opinion based on where you're standing on the planet Earth and in what direction you are being pulled. So say like you're a man standing on our North Pole. He would feel the gravitational force pulling him directly south towards the South Pole, which he would then interpret to be down. And this opposite would be true for our friend on the South Pole. There are no other major forces at play in regards to us staying on the planet, and because of that, no one would just be pulled off or fall off of it. They would remain on the planet because the largest force acting on them is that gravitational force pointing towards the center.